14, here's what it says. In Iconium they entered the synagogue of the Jews together and spoke in such a manner that a large number of people believed, both Jews and Greeks. But the Jews who disbelieved stirred up the minds of the Gentiles and embittered them against the brethren. Therefore they spent a long time there, speaking boldly with reliance upon the Lord, who was testifying to the words of his grace, granting that signs and wonders be done by their hands. But the people of the city were divided. Some sided with the Jews, some sided with the apostles. And when an attempt was made by both the Gentiles and the Jews with their rulers to mistreat and to stone them, they became aware of it, fled to the city of Lycaonia, Lystra, and Derbe, and the surrounding region. And they continued to preach the gospel. You may be seated. I want to talk about standing boldly for the gospel. Amen. I may not get a chance to finish this, but I'm going to try to do as much of it as I possibly can. We're already well past our time, but I want to try to cover as much of this as I possibly can.
Your time.
Amen. To get through the hardest journey, my brothers and sisters, we need to only take one step at a time.
Amen.
Let me say that again to you. To get through your hardest journey, we need only take one step at a time. But this is the most important part of the phrase of all. You must keep stepping.
Amen.
What am I saying? I'm saying some journeys are going to be rough.
Yeah.
Some roads are going to be tough.
Uh-huh.
And the best way to get down some bad road is keep going.
Keep going.
Till the bad road run out.
It'll run out, Ray. That's right. That's right.
My implication here is that you keep stepping.
Uh-huh.
And eventually God will make the bad road
That's right. That's right.
run out.
That's right, Ray.
Amen.
Amen.
Iconium is a bad road.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Amen. It is a city that's nestled somewhere in the woods. It's in the wilderness.
All right.
It is a part of Asia Minor. And at this particular time, the Roman government really is empowered here. People of Iconium are not, don't speak Latin. They've stuck with the customs of the Greeks.
All right.
And so these Romans, even though they controlled the country, these bush people out in Iconium were left ignored as far as Christendom and sharing the message of the gospel was concerned. Iconium was located on the border between Pisidia and Lycaonia.
Yeah.
It had a flourishing agricultural area and it was surrounded by desert. It was important to an important commercial center, and it centered in produce and wool.
All right.
Lycaonia was 90 miles southwest of Antioch on the Via Sebastes, some country town in the hill country. Is all it was. It was what they call a Roman military outpost. It was so far in the outskirts that you had to pump light down there. Amen. They were granted the status of a colony in only 6 BC.
Yeah.
All right.
Populated by uneducated Lycaonians from a small Anatolian tribe. Let me tell you a little bit about Derbe, because you'll hear this name in the passage. Derbe was located 45 miles south of Iconium, so it's only 45 miles different between Iconium and Derbe. Formed the eastern border of the Roman Empire in the 1st century of Asia Minor.
All right.
The site recently was discovered in the mid-20th century. In other words, Derbe, the location can be found. Amen. In the mid-20th century, its site was discovered, and is known as the Kerti Huyuk in modern Turkey. I know you didn't get that, but we'll come back to that.
All right, Real.
Acts 14 concludes the first missionary journey, picking up the missionaries in Iconium and returning them by the end of the chapter to Antioch of Syria. So Paul has had some excursions while he's been out sharing the message of Jesus Christ. He's had some good success, but he's also, in chapter 13, verse 50, 51, 52, he's had some problems. That while people are getting saved, there are unsaved people who are stirring up the people and about him and his preaching.
All right.
This chapter represents the first foray of the gospel into raw pagan territory. Basically what I'm saying is, when the writer goes into Iconium and Derbe, he's going into a place that has never, listen, they have no churches there.
All right.
There are no synagogues here. There's no Jewish proselytes here. There's nobody here that understands and knows who God is. You got some people there who are what they call Hellenistic Jews. And Hellenistic Jews actually are Jews that speak Greek.
All right.
So they're there, but the text says they are unbelieving.
All right, Real.
They're unbelieving Jews. And so in Iconium and Derbe, you got a population where the Bible, the Word of God, the witness of Jesus, and the evangelism of the Bible is all unheard of in these territories. Like so much in this room. The gospel message of salvation was unheard of to a lot of us.
All right, Real.
Who are here in this room right now. Until we heard the message in our lives became changed.
All right.
Thank you, Lord.
This chapter represents the first foray of them taking the gospel to some raw pagan territory. I'm talking raw pagan. If there's no God, then who are they worshiping now? What are they worshiping? What is their culture? What are they practicing? What do they do here? And one thing we do know, they don't have church. Because there's no church in Derbe.
All right.
Or in Iconium. They're going to some raw territory where the gospel has never been. Not only do they have to deal with paganism, but they got to deal with superstition while they're there. Because in Black Mountain, there's a lot of superstition.
Amen.
Some of us still worry about dust throwers today.
All right, Real. All right, Real.
Y'all do know people still scallop chicken bones.
All right, Real.
Okay, I'm just saying, there's still some superstitions today.
All right, amen, Real. Amen.
And the gospel had to penetrate a raw pagan society where superstition is the common behavior.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get at. Y'all with me sometimes?
Amen, Rick.
In this chapter, Paul and Barnabas, these two sophisticated Jews with strong backgrounds in the Old Testament theology, plunged their pioneer missionaries into this new territory. I'm going to get out of here real quick. I need my time. Iconium was not greatly different from the city of Pamphylia. But Lystra and Derbe represented virgin fields for the gospel. Virgin fields. somewhere where they had never been before. There was no synagogues there. There was no Jewish population with the messianic promise to whom they could proclaim the message of the risen Christ. No word. There was nobody there that believed in the message of Jesus Christ who could actually proclaim it there in these parts of the world.
All right.
Here the gospel is plunged into raw heathenism, to which these missionaries have never seen in primitive form. In other words, they're taking the gospel somewhere where they've never been heard and they've never seen anybody so primitive. Because they've been living in a culture. While we're living in a civilized world, we would understand people who live in the bush.
Amen.
You got a bag you go to every night. You got a shower head. You got a stove in the refrigerator. You got a washer and dryer. In the bush, they don't have washers and dryers. They don't have cell phones.
All right.
Y'all talking to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we're talking about taking the gospel into some of the most remotest areas on the planet. Are y'all with me? But then it fulfilled the commission that Jesus gave the disciples in Acts chapter 1, verse 8. Go ye therefore. Listen, he said, and you shall be witnesses unto me. Both in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth. And I'm going to tell you, Antioch displayed all the wickedness in the civilized world.
Yeah.
Even though there was no God there, they still practiced evil. You understand? They were pagans. So in paganistic society, there will be some practices that will go against the grain with God. Are y'all with me here?
Amen.
The resident city of Iconium. Lystra and Antioch can be compared to the difference between a capital city like Lima, Peru, and the jungle tribe living 200 or 300 miles on islands. In other words, it's the difference between somebody who lives in a rural city and somebody who lives in the bush. Are y'all with me here? People of Lystra were pagans. They acted differently than the Latin population of the inner city in Dallas. People of Lystra were pagan. But they responded for the same reason. What do you mean? When they heard the gospel, they responded the same reason. For the same reason. What was the reason, Brother Hammond? I'm glad you asked. He said, nobody ever talked to us in this way. In other words, nobody's ever told us about Christ. Nobody's ever preached the gospel to us. Nobody ever told us that we could be saved. We have never heard this. So when the Iconians and the Lystrians and the Derbies, when they heard the gospel message, they said, nobody's ever talked to us like this. And so they were amazed, literally astonished at what they heard. To Romans, Greeks, and Jews, these cities represented people beyond the periphery of civilization or culture. In other words, they were so bushy that there was literally no culture or civilization to actually equate them to.
All right.
Amen. So they were a society aside from a society. Where they had established their own rules. Are y'all with me?
Yeah.
And so the Romans said, listen, we don't need to take the gospel down there. But God said, the only place that needs to go down there is Christian missionaries who are commissioned by God. Oh my God. Why is it necessary? Because God gave the commission that we are to go into the uttermost part of the earth and share the gospel's message. And so that's what we find our writers doing here now. Yeah, up in those part of the world. We ought to take the gospel to the ends of the earth. Let me tell you the way Acts chapter 1 verse 8 said, unto the uttermost part of the world. This word uttermost means, it comes from the Greek word eschatos. Eschatos. It comes from the root word echo, which means the farthest part, the final part of place or time. It means to go to the end, to the lower end, to the lowest end, or go to the uttermost part, as far as you can go.
Yeah.
Amen. And so when God designed for us to share the gospel and take the gospel to the uttermost part of the world, he meant that literally.
Yeah.
I mean, civilized people have to hear the gospel. Are y'all with me here?
Yes, sir.
Children, need to hear the gospel? Bush people need to hear the gospel. Need to hear the gospel. And God said, in essence, listen, I'm not going to abort going to Iconium simply because they're bush people. I'm not going to forsake Lystra and Derbe because they're not civilized and don't have culture. He said, they need the gospel. And how many of you know that everybody
Amen, real.
need the gospel?
Amen.
Everybody.
Need the gospel. And rejection is what we see in Iconium, when the gospel is shared there. But how do you know that you got to learn how to hold your ground? You got to stand up for God to share the gospel, whether they hear or whether they reject. Amen. Some of us become despondent when people don't hear the gospel message. Don't get upset with people simply because they don't hear the gospel message, because there might be a reason why they're not listening. Are y'all listening here? Let me run a couple things to you. The first thing I saw in the text was when we talk about our getting ready, or our plans, or our goals to share the gospel. Our taking a stand and being bold as we share it. I got four things I want to show you, but first thing I want to show you is, if you're bold when you share the gospel, when you take a stand for the gospel, if you're bold, there will be conversion.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, there will be conversion. Notice number one, the people's response to the gospel. In verse number 1, and it came to pass in Iconium. Now God did not go around Iconium, he went in. Yeah, now most of us who are in this room, God didn't circumvent you, he went through you.
Amen.
He got into you.
Amen.
That's why you saved now, because he didn't go around you, he went through it.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah,
Amen.
some of you sitting right here right now, God got in.
Got in.
Amen.
Yeah, he used to hear about everybody else being saved, but now you say he didn't go around you, he went in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so he went into Iconium. He went there. It came to pass. Get right. God called something to take place. Something happened in Iconium. They went both together in the synagogue. Now here's Paul and Barnabas' plan to bring converts to Christ. He said, well, what is the best place to go and find new converts to Christ? And then I'll tell you, he said, let's go to the synagogue. In every Jewish assembly, there's going to be men and women who's on the search for God. I don't know about you, brothers and sisters, but there are many people who work with you, who are neighbor around you, who are on a search for God. And even if they're not, you ought to be on a search and a discovery for who God is. And notice the text here, and the first thing they did, they went to the synagogue. Now get this. They went to the synagogue of the Jews, and the text says, they spake. Now this word spake is from the Greek word, laleo, which means to talk, or the other word, to express in speech, to preach, say, speak, talk, or tell. Basically what they did, when they went in the synagogue, they started preaching. They started preaching. The text didn't say they preached, but the text said they spake. Now, listen what they spake. That a great multitude, both of Jews and Gentiles, of the Greeks, believed. So, what was he doing that made them believe? Are y'all listening to me? In order for them to believe, he had to preach the message of salvation.
All right.
Yeah, somebody in there responded to the gospel message, because the text said both Jews and Greeks. Yeah, it didn't matter to him how many came. It didn't matter their nationality. It didn't matter whether they're men or women. He said because they heard the message, the people responded. And how many of us in this room, when we heard the gospel message, we respond?
All right. Amen.
Some of us, you can't run for God forever.
Amen, real.
Because you're going to keep hearing this message until God shakes up inside of you.
Amen.
And you're going to have to respond. You're going to have to give in.
All right, real. All right, real.
I come to tell you, if you stand boldly for the gospel, there will be conversion.
Amen.
Because when I see a great number of people, this wasn't just one or two, the text said a great number. We don't even know what that number is. All we know is it was a massive amount of people who made a decision for Jesus Christ at one time because they heard one message.
Amen.
You talk about how powerful is the gospel. It's enough to shake a man who's sinner and make him a saint the same day. It's enough to turn a prostitute from prostitute and become a lady of God in one day. God can change us in one day.
Amen.
I need two people here that God can change.
Amen, real.
And did an overnight change on you. I mean, he still got some work to do, but he did immediate work when he saved you. But he yet saved you. He yet delivered. He yet bringing you. I can't say this long.
Preach, real. Preach, real.
They responded. There were people who responded to the gospel message.
All right.
When you make a bold stand and take the message places where it's not been heard, people are going to respond. And listen, it doesn't matter what other people think about you, whether you preach good or not, whether you preach better than them or not, it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter to God. What really matters is the message is right. Because when the message is right, then the people will respond right.
Amen,
Now, the point of the matter is, what is the gospel message? The gospel message in a nutshell. Can I give it to you in a nutshell? He lived, and he died.
Yeah.
But he didn't stay there. Sunday morning. That's the gospel message. That Christ did come, the Messiah, the anointed one. That he did live. People held him, they fed him, they took care of him. Joseph and Mary taught him the business. But he didn't stay there.
Yes, sir, Rev. Yes, sir.
And they never deviated from the message. When they got to Iconium, they told him he lived and he died. But they didn't stay there. Stuck with the gospel message. When they heard the message, they responded. Great multitudes get up out. Listen, I ain't never heard a priest talk to me like this. They never did in the San Diego Council talk to us like this. But this crowd here responded when they heard the message of Jesus Christ.
All right.
Listen, if you stand strong or stand boldly for the gospel, there will be confirmation and confusion.
Yeah, that's true.
Confirmation and confusion. Can I show you this in verse number 2 and 3? Well, actually it's in verse number 3, but part of it in verse number 2. What's it? Verse number 3. For a long time, therefore abode they, speaking boldly in the Lord, which gave testimony to the word of his great and granted signs and wonders to be done by their hand. It's confirmation. Well, why would he confirmation? Well, by 2 or 3 witnesses, every word of God is established. Now, in verse 1, we see conversion where people respond to the gospel message. In verse 3, we see where Paul and Barnabas remain to preach the gospel message. Yes, confirmation. Well, why would you stay in a place where the gospel has no effect?
All right.
The text said, verse number 3, for a long time, therefore, they stayed right there and they spake bold. What do you mean? They weren't intimidated? Huh? They were not timid about talking about their life with God, their salvation. Some of us in here might be timid. You're talking about it in church.
All right, Pastor.
But you ain't gonna talk about it on the job.
All right, Rev.
Or you're not going to talk about it when you're hanging out with your friends because you feel that's an uncomfortable environment for you to talk. But listen, if you say they already in an uncomfortable environment because they hanging around somebody who is in a relationship with God.
All right, Ray.
Amen.
All right, Ray.
So if you start talking, they're going to get more uncomfortable. Because they're already uncomfortable because you go to church. They're already uncomfortable because you say you're saved. They're already uncomfortable because you carry a Bible. Now, why would somebody who is not saved carry a Bible? So they're already uncomfortable. And when you open your mouth and start talking about the gospel, they're going to get more uncomfortable. And notice this was confirmation that the ministry was having success in Iconium. Because text said they for a long time. Now let me explain it to you. They spent time there. Which means what they really did a tribute, which means they were honestly and straightly discussing things without fear. When they talked to somebody, told the truth. When they told people about things, they went straight down the line. They didn't try to deviate or try to throw curveball. They went straight down the pipe. Some people can't holler straight forward this. Can't handle you being all right, all out honest. But when they preached, they were all out honest. They were all out straightforward. Now get this. For a long time, therefore they are bold, speaking of the Lord. What's this? Why were they doing that? The text said they gave testimony. I gotta get that, you have to up. This is an interesting word here. It comes from the word martureo, where we get our another word martus or martus, which means to be a witness, to testify, or to give evidence. Now the text says they gave testimony. So why were the disciples here to give? What does it mean that they gave testimony? Well, the Bible is fulfilling itself. They're seeing everybody else that hears the message get saved. How they're being affected by what they've heard. And so the disciples are here to give firsthand, watch this, authentication that the gospel of Jesus and his word and his contents are authentic. Because what we say about, I'm saying the same thing happened in me before they met Christ. It's the same thing happened in them since they met him. He said, I was in the same place they were without God in my life until I met God.
All right.
And I was in the same place they are when I met him.
All right.
I was never the same again.
Amen.
Anybody here used to be a certain way before you met God?
Amen, bro.
But now since you met him, things are different now since you met God.
Amen.
That's what he said.
It ain't the same.
We came here to give testimony. Evidence that whatever's happening to them is happening to us too. And so this is authenticate that this is a real action that's going on in them. You know, I can just about tell when somebody's sincere about whether or not they're going to give their life to Christ. And when somebody is just doing it for the sake of friends. You know, they tired of people poking at them, prodding at them about doing it. So they do it for the sake of, you know, keeping them quiet. Yeah. He said, I'm here to give testimony. I'm giving testimony of the word of his grace. Because the only reason why they're different is because of the grace of God. Salvation is a gift from God, it's grace. Your deliverance is a gift from God, it's grace. See, I'm testifying to this. This Cairo, this graciousness of God, this divine influence upon my heart. Because once they're changed, they're not going to be the same. When I got got changed, my heart will be the same.
Yeah.
And when these Iconians get changed, their hearts will not be the same. Here's what he says. Look at verse 2 real quick. I want to show you this. Not only was there confirmation, but there was also confusion. Look at verse 2. This is interesting. Now, they're having great success. Verse 1, both Jews and Gentiles, great numbers are coming. In verse 3, you got confirmation where the disciple said, we are giving testimony of the word of his grace. And to show that God means what he said, he sent us signs and wonder to prove that he's doing this.
All right.
All right? Look at verse 2. But the unbelieving Jews. Let me tell you this. It doesn't matter who you are, you will always have some non-believer who is always going to be in opposition to what God is trying to do. Amen. Are y'all praying with me? He said, we have a success in Iconium, but these Jews, and they are not in Jews, they are non-believing Jews. Are y'all with me here? Look at what they did. They stirred up the Gentiles. Epigero, to rouse them, to excite them again. In other words, they embittered the heart of these people against these brothers. So it doesn't matter whether you try to do a work for God, there's always somebody ain't gonna like it. Amen. Just put that in proper context, man. It doesn't matter how much you do for God, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't appreciate it. Somebody who don't take all that. How do you know if you ain't saved?
Amen, Pastor.
All right.
How do you know what it takes? She don't have to fall all out. How do you know? Because you ain't fell all out. That means that she won't. Or he won't.
All right, Reb.
Because you don't know what God has brought them through. You don't know what God has brought them out. You don't know what got them shouting.
Amen, Reb.
That's between them and God.
All right.
Great Reb.
Yeah.
Great Reb. Great
Yes,
Reb.
sir.
So in verse number 2, they stirred up the Gentile. What's it? And made their minds evil affected. What's it? This word, for the word mind, the word suke. Where we get our soul, nefesh, ruach, the breath of God. It deals with our supernatural, our immaterial parts. Are y'all with me here? The suke.
Right.
So when it said they made their minds evil affected, really, this evil affected what word cock, which means, watch this, they poison their minds against these brothers. Okay, let me put it where you can get it. You ain't never said nothing so bad about somebody that you made somebody else not like somebody you didn't like.
All right, Pastor.
Amen, Reb. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm really trying to do something. You ain't gotta tell nobody, look, I can't stand so you give them all the details about it. Cause this what they pause in the minds of these Gentiles. And made them turn against these brothers preaching the gospel message. Wow.
Wow, right.
They pause in their mind. He said, he made their mind. This word made is word karkos, which means to injure the mind. It's like the same as taking a concussion. They injured the mind.
All right.
They embittered them. They caused them to be bitter. They caused them to be resentful, to hate them. And this word evil affected is the word kak-o-o, which means to injure, to treat evil, to harm, or to hurt. So their intention was to cause the people to either harm or hurt them. Don't just be mad with them, but find them out program, and we gonna cause them some damage. We gonna do them some damage. Let me say this to us that have the gospel message in us. That there's some people that want you to talk about God.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Without them trying to do you some damage. Yeah, they mean inflict damage upon you. Because they sick of you and your God and your church and your Bible and your religion, and they gonna do damage to you. Now you gotta keep in mind what Paul and Barnabas and them are. They're in the woods. Iconium, Lystra, Derby, these are rural areas, woods. If they come up missing down in the woods, ain't nobody gonna probably, you understand? Alligator or something, anaconda or something swallow them, whatever. They'll come up missing. Yeah. Somewhere in these woods.
Yeah.
Thank God he took care of them. Last point I want to make is this. Now, I got two more. I'll make at least one more. I see conversion when we stand firm for God, because people will respond. I see confirmation and confusion because people will remain. When they remain to preach the gospel, they stayed there long enough to disciple new converts. Third point. When you stand boldly for the gospel, there will be contrast. Amen. Yeah. There will be rejection and reception. Look at verse number 4. Now, even though they're having good response, and God is showing, he's confirmed the word by signs and wonders that follow. He said, what was verse number 4? But the multitude of the city was divided. Let me say this. That there are people in the world who are divided about this subject. Amen. They don't know whether or not to follow the pagans or the Christian. The non-believer or the believer. The churchgoers or the non-churchgoers. They don't know which one to believe. And it's a great argument for some of those who are heathen. When I say heathen, I don't mean that in a derogatory. I mean that in the sense that you don't have a relationship with God. Anybody who doesn't is a heathen. Are you hearing me? Because you have nothing to regulate you, because if without God, there's nothing to regulate you. Amen. What's this? The multitude of the city was divided. Part of them was, what's this? Part of them was with the Jews. Part of them with the apostles. Now, here's the thing y'all watch here in the text. The first mention of the Jews in text is in verse 2. Well, the second mention of it in verse 2. He talked about them being unbelievers. Now, here's where I'm going to go with this. And get this. You mean to tell me you can't make a decision between somebody who is a believer and a non-believer? Y'all gonna get me funny? I'm gonna drop this one real quick and I'm quick. Unsaved folk are struggling.
Yeah.
We're trying to identify which is which.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm finna mess you up here now.
Yeah.
I'm about to mess you up.
Come on, Pastor.
Go ahead with it. Go ahead with it.
We got people not saved, but they divided about which side. Well, if you hanging out with
All right.
Unbeliever, real.
huh?
With unbeliever.
How is a non-believer supposed to be able to distinguish between you and somebody who is a non-believer if you hanging out together? Okay, I'm gonna bring it closer, Brad. Okay, you saved, but you're hanging out and doing things with people who are not saved. And so somebody who really looking for God, said, no, ain't that deacon, preachers, reverends, ain't that one of the choir members there, the usher? Amen. Now, instead of them being able to make a rational decision, it's hard to make a decision because they're not sure whether or not you're saved. And you come to be a testimony for everybody else because of the way you act.
Oh, that's bad, man.
He said they can't decide. And some people cannot decide based on how we live and carry ourselves.
Amen.
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 They shouldn't have had no problem in Lystra though.
All right.
They should not have had a problem in Iconium because they were worshiping the pagans. And to experience the power of God in manifestation, they should not have had a problem. But they had a problem. They had some non-believing Jews in town. And they're saying, y'all better watch them guys. Keep your eyes on them. These non-believers. In verse number 4, he said, they stand together. In verse number 4, that's what, here's what happened. Verse number 4, the city was divided. City divided. The whole town divided. Basically, one commentary said, they split them in half. That half of the city believe and accept Christ, half of the city believe these unbelieving Jews.
Wow.
Well, you got to keep in mind, you're talking about bush people. You're talking about an uncouth, uncultured, uncivilized city. And to get the message in here, you got to have something a little bit more than John, Romans 10:9-8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh? You got to know a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
All right.
Watch this. So there's a contrast in verse 4. There's some that receive. There's some that reject the gospel. Then finally, I want to show the conspiracy. Verse 5-7. There was a report. Well, what happened? These Jews got everybody worked up. And now, the word is out that these men are in town. And look like to me, brother person, they got the town shook up from the foundation down. Well, what are we going to do about the problem? Here's what we're going to do.
Yes, sir.
It's found in verse number 6. I'm going to show you right real quick. Wait, verse number 6. And this is going to be real quick. I'm going to get out the hat now. In verse number 6, I'm going to show you this. Here's what he said, verse number 6. He says, they were aware of it. In other words, some kind of way or another, it's going to turn bad for them. But God didn't leave them ignorant.
Right.
He made them aware of it. What was going to happen? Well, what's going to happen? They fled to Lystra. They left Iconium. Verse 6, they said they had to leave there. And they went to Lystra and Derbe and sent, which are cities of Lycaonia, and unto the region there, watch this, and there they preached the gospel. That was a conspiracy. A report was made to the gospel missionaries. And so when they got the word that their lives were at a risk, they left Iconium. But they didn't leave Iconium like they found Iconium.
All right.
When they got there, there was nobody believing.
All right.
But when they left there was a great number that was believing.
All right.
And it was because they preached the gospel of Jesus Christ. And here's my final word to you today. It doesn't matter where you are. And it does not matter what obstacles are in front of you. You share the gospel message.
Amen.
Because there are people out here that need to know that Jesus died for their sin, but didn't stay dead.
All right.
Early Sunday morning,
Yeah.
he got up with all power
Oh, wow.
in his hand.
Yeah.
The door of the church is open. We ought to take a step. We ought to take a step. For the gospel. Iconium was some virgin territory. And some of us, God is going to send us to some places where the gospel has never reached.
All right.
And what are you going to do in those places when you run into opposition? Some said that it was the cheapest way out for Paul and Barnabas to run for their lives. Well, actually, it was the best way out. Because basically what God said, your intent was to stay in Jerusalem with the gospel. But I'm going to make it so you can't stay where you are with the gospel. And now you're going to go to Jerusalem. You're going to go to Judea. You're going to go through Samaria. And you're going to go to the uttermost part of the earth. Now you can't get no more uttermost than Iconium. You can't get no more remote than Derby and Lystra. I'm talking about no lighting, no churches, no synagogue, no preaching. There's nothing down the woods and animals. Are y'all with me so far? So he said they took a stand there. And some of us, God is going to use us in this way.
All right.
And we're going to undergo some obstacles in our lives. And God's going to take us down some roads where the gospel has never been heard. We may end up talking to some people that may not be able to identify with our culture.
All right.
But yet we have to be bold to share the message.
Amen.
And why was it important for Paul and to run? Well, it wasn't just a matter of them running. It was also a matter of God's intervention. What do you mean? You can't stay in Iconium forever. Because there's a great word going on in Iconium, but what about Lystra? What about Derby? What about Antioch, Syria? Yeah, you just left Pisidia. What about Syria? They need the word too. And these areas are remote. And if God doesn't intervene and scatter them and call persecution to come against them, they'll stay in one place and never take the gospel anywhere else. This is an imperative of God, Acts chapter 1, verse 8, that we go everywhere with the gospel. And in some of those places where he had to run for his life, that was God scattering him. So your time out here, move somewhere else. Yeah. And that's exactly what he had to do. He had to get out of there and go share the gospel in other cities. But now, if you notice in the text in verse number 7, wherever they went, they never stopped the mandate. They preached everywhere that they went. If you're here today, you ought to be able to take a bold stand today.
Amen.
Take a bold stand. You say, God, listen, I don't understand it all, but I'm going to take a stand.
All right.
Amen.
Yes,
Amen.
it is.
Take a position.
Yeah.
Don't continue to be divided. Can't decide in your life which side is the right side. I'm going to tell you which is the right side.
Amen.
God is the right side.
Amen, Rip.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. You cannot go wrong with God.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
And listen, when you try to compare God with the rest of the world, you're going to find that there's no comparison.
Amen.
There's nothing like God here. Coca-Cola's good, but it ain't better than God. Amen.
Amen.
Nothing better than God here. Nothing even to compare to God here. So you ought to be able to make that decision. You ought not leave here still divided.
Amen.
Still unconverted. Still
Amen.
unconvinced. If you here, won't you come? Won't you come? Why don't we place a chair right here, Brother Jones, and
Yes.
while somebody make a decision about coming? Why don't you decide? Why don't you go ahead and decide? And if you're still uncomfortable about doing it in the public service, you can talk to me after service.
Amen.
And we can
Amen,
talk
Rip.
about it privately. But I think the decision ought to be reached.
Amen.
And you ought not wait forever
Amen.
to reach that decision.
Amen.
Come, Brother Adam, I mean, all of us have been there. Some of us have been in that place of limbo. Well, we looked at both sides and still left divided. But I come to tell you, you don't have to leave here.
Amen.
Yeah, divided. You don't have to leave here divided. Not sure about what side is the right side.
Amen.
We already told you, this is the right side.
Amen.
This is the right side.
Amen, Red.
So join yourself to God.
And the other side.
Join yourself to the work of God. Amen.
Amen.
God bless and God
Amen.
teach is our prayer. All right?
Amen.
Come on, brother, set everything.